I built the largest black-owned real estate firm in California. I'm a real estate investor. I'm a cannabis investor. I'm a best-selling author. I'm a TEDx speaker. I did this great TEDx. Has anybody heard my TEDx in this room? Woo! My daughter? All right, right on. It's called Google That Shit. And I talk about ways that we can close the wealth gap. That is my life's mission. That's always been my life's mission. And we're going to talk about that today. And that's the mission of the Power Networking Conference. And the reason why I've come here year after year, and I used to come with my 2 girlfriends, right? And then it was like, they're like, you know, they wasn't into, I love them, but they weren't into black empowerment the way I'm into black empowerment. So I don't care if I hear the same speech by George Fraser 50 million times and I've memorized it. It's like it's the first time me hearing it. And I just, my values align with everything that is the Power Networking Conference. And I have not missed a year in at least 15 years. I absolutely love it. But closing the wealth gap is the key. And we've been talking about that all week. How many here want to close the wealth gap? Woo! Yes. And the reason why you're here is because you want to do better for yourself, right? You want to do better for your kids. And I want to applaud you because being in the room is everything. COVID drove me crazy because we were on Zoom and Zoom was great, but being in the room is something very different. I have, like he mentioned, Jason Fenwick, I met him, I've been, like I said, coming for 15 years, and I always come with the intention that somebody here, or wherever I go, is gonna change my life. And so I want you to make that conscious decision when you come to any conference, that whether it's a person on stage, or you're in the bathroom, or you're in the halls, that somebody here is gonna change your life. And there's been many instances. There was an instance with Emmerich Peace. I've known Emmerich for 15 years. I was at a whole nother conference, and I had a meeting with him that changed my life. So always be intentional. Set that intention when you go, somebody here is gonna change my life, okay? Best-selling author, I have some couple of books. They should be coming. I've sold out all the books, but I have some more coming. And then most importantly, I'm a wealth activist. I'm like the Harriet Tubman, I think, of wealth. I could have freed 100 more of y'all if y'all just knew y'all were slaves. But I love it. I love helping black people. Y'all are my people. I'm telling you, I love it. But let me ask you a question. What do you think my most important job is?
Your kids.
What? Yes! Give it up for all the moms in the house! Man, I have the most amazing kids. They are trifling and lazy. They don't always take showers. They don't always listen. But they're amazing and they're wonderfully behaved. And they're all the things. So if you have children, you know, being a mother is one of the most important things, most important gifts that you could ever have, and I just cherish it. In fact, my daughter is right here. She comes with me every year. She's been coming with me since she was 13. She's 25. I brought my oldest son last year for the first time. He wants to be an attorney, and I'll tell you a bit about them in a little bit. But here's a statistic that I learned strictly from, first from George Fraser. The median wealth of black Americans could reach 2053, and I know we all know that, right? By 2053, it could reach a 0. That's huge. So we are on the trajectory, and that's the foundation of my TED Talk. We are on the trajectory to reach a 0 median wealth amongst our people by the year 2053, if trends continue. And then there was a study last year that said white wealth was $1.3 million compared to that of, their household income was $1.3 million compared to that of $211,000 for African Americans. That's almost $1.1 million difference. So, my theory in my TED Talk was, I don't believe that we're gonna be at 0, but it looks like we're headed down that direction. But there's still some things that we can do. So one of the things we know is that everything that's bad, we're at the top. And now we haven't gotten here by ourselves, you guys. You know that. 400 years of oppression, white supremacy, predatory lending, redlining, all of the things that we had to face. And of course, everything bad, we're at the top. So if you look at incarceration, we're at the top. If you look at unemployment, we're at the top. If you look at poverty, unfortunately, we're at the top. And then everything good, we're at the bottom. So marriage, we're not married at the same rates as everybody else. And marriage is the foundation of wealth in this country for our families. And we're not married at the same rates as everybody. You know, household incomes, we're at the bottom. Education, we're at the bottom. And then credit, we're also at the bottom. Now everybody else is in the 700 club, but we walk around with an average of 671 credit score. And if you don't know anything, I think credit is the great equalizer. Credit, we can use credit as leverage. Wealthy people don't use their own money. They use credit as leverage so that they can build wealth. So if we got bad credit, how though? Because we supposed to build some wealth. We gotta get our shit together, y'all. And oh, by the way, I curse and I love Jesus, so forgive me. Thank you. Anybody else curse and love Jesus? All right. I'm gonna keep it PG though, but you know, I do. So we gotta get our stuff together. We gotta get our credit together because that is a great equalizer. That's the way that they can't discriminate against us. If we got stellar credit, what they gonna do? They can't say no, even though they have. Even though I did a study not too long ago, and in 2023, several big banks were sued for predatory lending. It's a problem today, but that's why you gotta work with people that look like you. So, how do we close the wealth gap? Now, we talked all week, many ways, right? Master P had different solutions. Everyone here has different ways, and there's not one road to closing the wealth gap. There are many. So for me, I feel like, there are two ways. One, through Black women. Give it up for Black women. Woo! Now, this is no diss to men. Y'all doing your thing. But listen, Black women, we are the most educated. We're starting businesses at a higher rate than everybody else. We are getting paid. And so we're doing the damn thing. And then there's an African proverb that says, when you teach a man, you teach an individual. But when you teach a woman, you teach a nation. What does that mean? When you teach a woman, she's gonna teach her kids, she's gonna teach her family, she's gonna teach her community. That's why it's so important to educate a woman, because not only is she gonna keep that information to herself, Black women, she's going to give it to everybody else. Because when you have a woman, if you give her some food, she gonna make a meal. Give her a house, she gonna make a home. That's just who we are, it's what we do, right? So I believe that's one way we're gonna close the wealth gap, but that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about your kids. Whitney Houston said, come on, sing it. I believe the children are our future. Oh, come on. Show them all. Okay, I can't. Let's go, yes. Look, she got the microphone over there. Get it, girl. But listen, the children are the way that we are really going to close the wealth gap. I heard Dr. Fraser said that this generation is the first generation after the Civil War that's not going to do better than the previous generations. That's a scary statistic. So every generation has done progressively better, and our children are not going to. So we have to do something different. So let me talk about the 4 ways, and I have to wrap up, to ensure financial success. The first way I want to tell you is we have to be proactive. We got to be advocates for our children. Now, what I mean by that is, for us, we have to be involved in school. How many of you guys know that we got to be involved in our children's school? Absolutely. A phone call, an email, a text message makes a difference. I have 3 boys. And when I had my daughter in school, they did not give her the same problems. When I put my first son in school, then I would always have to be the advocate to let them know, this is the one you ain't gonna mess with, it's the one you ain't gonna play with. Just a simple phone call and email. For our kids, the ADHD diagnosis is higher than everybody else's. The exposure rate is higher than everybody else's, but guess what? Exposure is reduced by 30% once we're involved. So just show them that you're involved. The second thing is we gotta teach our kids financial literacy. One of the things that I did with my boys, I was telling my daughter, she was like, you didn't do this with me. She's 5 years older than them. But one of the things I did is I got them on an app. Every time, there's an app called Busy Kids. If you have small children, if you got grandchildren, have them download this app called Busy Kids. And what this does is it helps them to be financially responsible. Every time they do a chore, you pay, they tell you that it's done, they send you a picture, you pay them, and then they can start investing in stock and things like that. It teaches them financial responsibility. The third thing I want you to do is invest in your children. So let me just show you something real quick. Do we got some audio? We got audio? No, on my video. Do we got audio on the video?
$1,000.
Okay, let me go back. Let me go back, because I need you, this is important. How do I go? Okay. I want you to see this. But when my son was 12, I bought him the Dr. Boy's Walking Stock Training Program.
I learned about investments, money, I learned about stocks and stuff.
I bought it for all my kids. I told all of them, whoever finishes.
I'm about to get $1,000 to use to invest in stuff.
He took $1,000 and made $8,000. Took about 2 years. And then in 2020, he took my $7,000 stock portfolio and made $40,000 in 3 months. So then he had a group where he was teaching stock. He was giving stock tips. It's called Stock Tips with Warren. And so he had like 200 people in the group that were paying him. So he was getting paid in stock and he was getting paid to teach. So, little things like that. Thank you so much. But little things like that you can do to start investing in your children. I invested in a Dr. Boyce Watkins stock trading program, and I told all my kids, if you finish it, I'm gonna give you $1,000. He took that $1,000, he made $8,000. Took him about 2 years. Then a few years later, he took my $7,000 portfolio and made $40,000. Okay? And then last, the other thing is, okay, so my daughter, she has her own business. I have invested in her business. She has a hair business. In fact, she's out there selling hair, so you guys support my daughter, her business right here. Yes, so she's an entrepreneur. She has a digital marketing business and she has a hair business where she's selling hair. And then my youngest son, he's a wholesaler, so he purchases wholesale he purchases wholesale items and he sells it for retail for a higher price. He's 15. That fourth kid, he ain't really doing nothing yet, but we gonna work it out, right? We gonna figure some things out. He's getting ready to go to Jackson State. And finally, and I'm almost finished, this is what I'm gonna teach you guys to do. By the time my 18-year-old son was 18, I gave him the keys to his first investment property. By the time my daughter was 22, she had her second investment property, okay? This is not a hard thing to do. And this is what I want to share with you tonight in my breakout right here, is how to set your children up so that they can become investors by the time that they are 21 and create financial freedom.